Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 100 of the Purple Hyacinth podcast on the Story Thinker called Tight Timing. And today we are with Solis and Fwoot.
Hello. I wasn't sure if Solis was going to go first or I was.
I'll go first. I'm Solis. I don't know what to say in the introduction. I'm a fan, and I draw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your Instagram, right? You put your stuff on Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Fwoot also has some stuff on Instagram, so there you go.
I don't like plugging it though. Yeah, I've been here not a couple. I've been here many times. I don't think I really need to introduce myself.
So episode 100, and we know we have been following this arc for several weeks, and as we talked about last time, we've been like cliffhanger, kind of the same cliffhanger, is the reveal. And we've been anticipating this episode because it's been built up with that chart, all the way up. So let's dive in. We left off last episode with Kim on top of Lauren, reaching for her mask, and that's where we start off here. We have, it starts off with a grab and her hand is right there, and we're all like, okay, she's gonna rip it off, but her hand is trembling. And then we see it from Lauren's perspective, it's still trembling, and there's several panels, so you can see she's taking her time. She is not ripping it off. She is hesitant. And at this point, we hear some tap, tap, tap from the door next from the stairs, and Kim is like, the APD already arrived. Tap, tap, tap. But no. But anyway, let me you guys say with the mask. How did you feel about the fact that the mask was once again not torn off?
I'm like almost frustrated. I'm like, it's a band-aid, just rip it off.
I am frustrated. I'm not sure if you listened to the 99 podcast, but I was literally just talking about in that podcast, like I just started it off and I was like, PH, you're really testing me right now. And Mindy knows this, and I was talking about it when the episode dropped, like when this episode dropped. I was like, how many of these cliffhangers do I have to sit through where literally nothing follows up on it? Like, every episode keeps building up to these cliffhangers, right? Like these really big cliffhangers. And then the next episode doesn't really fulfill what we were expecting. Like this episode, we expected Kim to finally rip the mask off. It's been like, what, 3 attempts now? Like, I don't know. It was like, end of 96, right? Kim almost discovered that Lauren was living, like got it confirmed. Then it was when Kim tried to arrest Lauren, and like had Loon been arrested, Kim would have found out their identities. And now it's this, and then the PS is very conveniently timed ambush. It's getting frustrating. And I was talking to some people about it, and they were thinking that like it may not be the authors. It could very well be Webtoon just pulling the strings and trying to get more people to fast pass, because that's how the Webtoons make money, of course. But damn, this is annoying.
It could also be the authors, right? Because like cliffhangers are how you get people to keep reading.
I know, but I don't want to keep reading if nothing matters anymore. Like the cliffhangers, they don't really matter in the next episode. That's not what the next episode is about. It's not, the episodes feel like contained to themselves, because what happened like in episode 99 when Kim was chasing Lauren, it doesn't matter in this episode. When Kim almost ripped off, like when Kim had she had the moment to rip off Lauren's mask. I mean, it makes sense that she didn't want to when she didn't, but like also why, like I don't know, it hurts me because every week we get this episode, amazing build up, amazing tension, And then we're left on this brutal cliffhanger. But then the next week doesn't fulfill our expectations, and it isn't satisfying to read. Like, I get it. It works. It can work, but it can't work like this for an entire arc. It can work for, like, I don't know, 3 to 4 episodes. But this is episode 100. This arc started on episode 94. That's a lot of episodes.
Right, so the reason a cliffhanger is so exciting is because you come up to the cliff and then you see that you're about to fall over the precipice. So a cliffhanger is supposed to be suspense followed by a reward of something very, very crucial, exciting, crazy happening. So we've been going up to the cliff and then up to the cliff and then up to the cliff, right? We haven't had the falling down off the cliff, result yet. So that's why we've been feeling this way.
Yeah.
Also at the same time, this cliffhanger isn't related to Kim ripping off Lauren's mask, like that first the first Kim Lauren encounter was in 96.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like it's more like not Kim ripping off her mask, it's just Kim always coming and like seconds away from discovering like who Lauren is. And we've been waiting for this for like, since Lauren did become Loon. We were like, when are people gonna find out she's Loon? And it keeps getting teased, and I'm all right with it being teased, but there still has to be like something to come out of it. It doesn't feel like there is anything coming out of it. 1 minute Kim's motivations, I feel, have been switching up completely. At one moment, she is trying to track down Loon because Loon has found something very important. And then she switches to trying to take down Loon and arrest them, and then she switches to trying to go back to what Loon was trying to figure out the entire time. Like, I know she has orders from Herman, but Kim is literally in a nitro factory that could go off at any minute if like someone shot the wrong bullet. And Loon has their priorities. Loon knows what they want to do. Loon wants to get out of the building. And I feel like them getting out of the building is more important than getting arrested. Because Kim and Will should realize that by slowing Loon down, by putting them at like risk of being blown up because like they want to arrest them, like they're actively putting themselves and the rest of Artalis at risk, as well as all the people in that factory.
I agree.
I mean,
and it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. I'm just gonna be honest here, because I feel like Kim knows better than this. Herman can't really do anything right now, right? Herman can get mad at them. He can like, give them extra hours or whatever for not following orders. But I feel like Kim has the autonomy to know what's most important right now and to choose what's most important right now.
And the result of all this, like the choosing to arrest them and hence the delay, has resulted in the Phantom Scythe coming in. We see these people come in and they're armed, they have these vests on, and Kim's like, wait, that's not, because right now the Phantom Scythe has had time to come in. And she grabs Lauren and says, take cover. So we can see, if she suspects she's Lauren, she wants her to be safe, right? And, there already is like a gunshot at them, and Kim grabs a gun and they are running down the steps while being shot at. She's protecting her head, and Lauren's like thinks to herself, Phantom Scythe back up, how did they get her so fast?
Tunnel theory. They got here through the tunnels. I'm just saying, there is a tunnel underneath this factory. I'm really hoping they discover it.
Great theory. And also, they sounded the alarm, so maybe the alarm was connected to like more Phantom Scythe headquarters or whatever. So yeah. And Kim's like, we need to go find the others, which I was like, yeah, you shouldn't just split up to begin with. I don't know why they split up, but so yeah. And we see the others are currently having a fist fight. Kieran and Will are just punching each other. It's quite sad. Will was about to punch Kieran, but then Kieran just makes him punch himself by pushing his hand. And poor Will, he's like recovering, and Kieran, jumps away. Will runs after him. He says, hey, they're running, and Will's like, seems like they've arrived. APD, Lieutenant Hop. And then Kieran's like, no, wait, this isn't. And then bang. And somebody has just shot from the Phantom Scythe has just shot at Will. Because no, it was not the APD, it was the Phantom Scythe. And Will is kicked out of the way by Kieran. And it's just like, he does this really strong kick. Looks like, he's from quite a distance away. You see Will being pushed quite far away. So it's very strong. And the bullet just passes by his eyes. So Kieran saved Will's life. Yeah, and this is one of the panels that was
kiss.
What?
Another kiss.
Yeah. And this panel here is actually one of the panels that was so posted on our Instagram.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention it.
Above.
Yeah, there was a Kim panel, right, where she had her hand over her face. That was one that was posted just on Instagram. And I didn't realize that. I just realized it like now.
It took a while because it's obscured by her that it's like a disgust face. So we were like, oh my god, what's happening? And yeah, it's obscured by her hand, but that's the panel. So Will is like slumped against a wall where he has been kicked, crashes into it, and the Phantom Scythe comes in. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them in this panel. They're heavily protected and armed. They're masked. We don't, they're hooded. We don't see their faces. Will dives behind a filing cabinet, it looks like, and then we see both of them are behind boxes. Those guys are just standing there shooting. I don't know why they're not like running. They clearly saw them just go behind the boxes. I don't know why they're just standing there. And my first thought is like, oh my god, is that nitroglycerin? Like, are any of those boxes nitroglycerin? Like, how can you be so sure that they're only by the loading docks and in the basement? Like, maybe they're in other places. Like, this is bad.
Man, Phantom Scythe, no respect for common safety.
Well, maybe the
if
Phantom Scythe
the
people
boxes
do know.
were nitroglycerin, they wouldn't be shooting at it.
Yeah,
I guess they
like
hopefully they were told where they were.
I think there was that one room, right, where all the nitro was. All the other rooms were, I think, safe, right?
Yeah, but they were shipping it out though.
They haven't discovered Will and Kieran don't know where, for all they know, there could be more nitroglycerin than they know, but hopefully the Phantom Scythe people know what is and what isn't. So Will, who is like an eternal optimist, is like, drop your weapons. Like, dude, you are far outnumbered. I don't think they're going to listen to you.
Like, Will, if we ask them nice enough, they'll do what we say.
He has such faith in the law.
They for sure want to get arrested.
Yeah. Like, they'll be like, oh shit, my bad. He asked politely. He said, please. I guess, like, I don't know. Pass the handcuffs.
Yeah, he is like, naively faithful in the power of the law. And that's Will. Will's all about rules. Will's all about doing things the right way. He's a little good guy. But then the second later, he's like, crap, this is bad. I think it's probably the first time he cursed. Yeah. Didn't he? No, wait.
No, it's the fifth.
It's like this Lady A, no?
If this is like the first time, it's crap.
He's sworn a total of 5 times.
Yeah. Solis, why do you know this?
Did you say he cursed 5 times?
Why do you know that he swear like exactly 5 times? Like, you know the exact number.
Someone else counted.
Oh my gosh.
Why are people count? Like, who's rereading all of PH just to see if Will swears? I feel like I know the answer. But...
Yeah. Either that or we have it memorized. So well.
Anyways, so it's a good trivia question. How many times has Will sweared up till episode 10? Or sorry, 100.
Oh, Girl Wonder has a trivia episode on Purple Hyacinth, and I did it before I started doing the podcast, I think, and I did not do very well. I think at this point, if I did it, I would know it much better. But yes, so y'all head over there and see how well you do.
Well, I have planned a lot of trivia events.
I've participated in our Jeopardy.
We made the Jeopardy.
And she was like, I'm gonna go undercover because no one can know how bad I am at trivia for my own story.
That's funny. Didn't we do Solis? Didn't you plan like the original trivia bit, and it was like this one Kahoot,
Yeah.
and you were asking people for like question ideas, and I literally gave you the most obscure questions ever. Like I was, you know, it's like episode 25. I was like, okay, Solis. At one point, like, where was the thief arrested? What is the name of the street? And it was like Isidore or something. I don't remember. Like the corner between.
And
That was the kind of
no
questions I
way.
was giving Solis. It was hilarious. And
Yeah,
then I won the
was-
Kahoot because I knew all the answers.
Yeah, for like the Jeopardy that we did, we had like a impossible round, and we just like purposely went into like specific chapters and was like, okay, what's the most obscure fact that we can find in this chapter?
And the scary part was that people knew it. Like I wasn't expecting people to know it, but like they got a lot of the questions right. And yeah, I've
Like,
never
we-
been more scared of a fandom before.
Because like even I didn't know the answers off the top of my head. Like that was me intentionally going in and trying to find really obscure things.
Yeah, same. I was just like, I don't know obscure stuff like off the top of my head. I'll go in and then I'll add them because I know that other people don't. But apparently people do know them, and I'm like, what the hell? Why do you know this? But yeah,
So
it's really fun to watch people. Like for the people who don't know, like as someone who has played these events, it's funny to watch them. Like I'm a horrible person for saying this, but it's funny to watch people panic because they're like, I don't know this. I'm like, me too.
yeah. So anyway, we know curses 5 times apparently before this. And Kieran says to himself, as always, seems like the Phantom Scythe was faster than the APD. Sad statement. Now, at this point, we see him tapping. We see he seems like he's lifting himself off, slamming his hand, and then Will's looking at him, and we see a whoosh. Looks like Kieran is kind of reflected in his eyes. And now suddenly, Kieran somehow is on top of all these Phantom Scythe members with 4 blades between his fingers, whooshing on top of them. Looks like he's like 20 feet above them. Kieran is basically a Spider-Man at this point. He's throwing the daggers as he's jumping down. They stab 2 of them in their hands. And then as he falls down, he kicks one of them in the face. And then he does like kicks another guy in the face while he's kicking another guy with the other foot. And then we hear behind you, which presumably is from Will. And somebody is shooting at him, but he grabs the guy's hand. The gun does not go, does not kill Kieran. And Will's just like shaking his head. And he's like, your minute is getting damn long, Herman. So yeah, I was number 7.
Before self-awareness, we love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, he's losing his patience. And he is shooting, he takes out his gun and he shoots, presumably he shoots at that guy. Although I will say, he's shooting at the guy's back, but the blood seems to be coming out as though he was shot from the front, but okay. Whatever.
He's trying to like disarm people and make it so like they can't like use their arms, but he's not trying to kill them. Like he's not aiming for the kill.
For Kieran, he didn't aim the daggers at the people's throats, only at their hands. Which frankly, I think he should have aimed at their throats, but okay.
I mean,
Also,
if he risks.
Random note: the calling Kieran Batman reminded me of the Spider-Man Lauren theory, which like
oh no, I forgot.
all honesty,
Mindy, I think
not
I
a
told you about
genuine-
this theory. This is
Wait,
Solis. She created it. She's insane.
I didn't create it, but I did the math for it. Yes, there was math involved. It was Lauren jumping off of a rooftop, and we calculated if it was humanly possible for her to jump off that roof and land on the ball of 1 foot, and no, it was not. And I did all the math to prove it and the physics.
I'm impressed.
So I just think the cast is superhuman at this point.
The trauma gives them superpowers.
Definitely. Anyway, Will is radioing and he's like, Lieutenant Hawks to Captain Herman, we have been ambushed. And meanwhile, there's this guy behind him. and he's shooting while he's talking. This Phantom Scythe has sent their backup around 30 individuals, and we have the guy coming from behind them again. But Lauren and Kim have come in at this point, and Lauren kicks the guy in the neck. So no, we'll once again save from getting shot. He's like, "Hey, Lieutenant, you guys okay there?" And Kim says that, and he's like, "We're good." No, you're not, but okay. We need to move towards an exit. But we see Kieran. All the Phantom Scythe guys are, out of commission and on the floor. Kieran's like clutching himself because clearly he is not doing well.
I mean, okay. I'm glad this was mentioned. Like, I'm glad it was acknowledged that like Kieran's supposed to be injured right now. But I also don't know how he was struggling to climb down an elevator, but now was able to do this like acrobatics, right? Like, when he was taking out the other Phantom Scythe people. I'm like,
he might be possibly making his injuries worse.
Yeah.
I think it's adrenaline,
Yeah.
Obviously, like, maybe it's a little unrealistic, but whatever. But I mean, adrenaline does drive people forward. And
Yeah.
when the people are all down, then he can kind of relax and let go. But yeah, I mean, it's he's not doing well. We see again like
he is by now.
Yeah, and we see a panel of him sweating, and like Lauren, also sweating, notices that. She's like, Kieran doesn't look so good. How long is his injured body going to last? So we've had this buildup for several times. So again, like consistent with what we've been saying, I do hope that it has a payoff in Kieran collapsing somehow, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense that we've been building up like, okay, he's not doing well, he's not doing well, he's not doing well. So
yeah. I mean, like I can handle buildup and I'm all right with it being teased. I can't take it when it's going on for like 8 episodes. It feels excessive to me. It's having to wait. I know in binge, like if you binge it, it'll probably be better, but like having to, like, it's been 2 months now, and like I don't want to do this
also
again.
Like according to the graph, 101 is even more upwards, and we don't even know what happens after that. Like, she covered the graph.
Yeah, right. So I hope all the things that we've been talking about will have a payoff. I hope the reveal, Kieran, and what comes next at the end of the chapter. So Will's like, and seems like there's more coming this way because we're gonna get surrounded. And Kim's like, well, there's no way we're gonna get out of here at this rate. I'm running out of ammo. Where are they? And she's shooting, right? And Lauren's like really wondering too over here. So the fact that they're all wondering this, and that like I think the authors are placing emphasis on this, maybe Herman is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. Maybe he's delaying for a reason, either Herman or someone else. What do you think? Do you think I'm theorizing too much, or do you think this is legitimate?
I think it's just convenient timing. I can't see Herman being PS. So I don't know. Everything seems convenient in this arc. Like the PS gets there just before the APD. The APD is taking a little longer. They somehow know the address, right? Without any struggle, even though that's what we left a cliffhanger on. Like there should have been some work for that, I think. Like that's one of my I feel bad because I'm complaining about this arc, and I don't know. I feel bad for complaining because I still really like PH. I have nothing against the authors. I have my own gripes with this arc. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I feel like everything's just coming to them a little bit too easily in this arc. It's either taking too long or it's happening too quickly. Right.
I mean, obviously it's highly unrealistic that like they've taken down like what 40 Phantom Scythe members.
Yeah.
4 people.
And no injuries so far.
Right. But I mean, to some extent I suspend, belief when we read webtoons, but like obviously it can't be too much, otherwise we get thrown out of the story. So anyway, whether or not there is a suspicious delay or not, eventually they do arrive. We see and there are lights, and there's there's 2 SWAT trucks at least surrounding the factory. We see Lloyd Glass Factory. Oh, that's so funny. In here, oh no, never mind. It still says since blank 1975, And so 1975. I thought it said 1975, but no, it still says an X in front. And we see, it looks like it's two long buildings right next to each other. And there's like these red lights around it. And we see the fact that this specifically says Group A front of factory makes me wonder if it's like, this Group B loading dock. Like, I wonder if this whole, the locations are important because like, is something going to happen and like specifically separately in like the factory and the front versus the loading dock?
Yeah, I don't know. Like when stuff gets dropped like this, it's usually important.
Yeah, they never, usually we just like, the location is something that we understand and interpret just as part of reading the story. So it's pretty drawing us out of the story to tell us something. So yeah, so in front of factory we have the SWAT teams. We have at least 2 trucks. We have these guys, people with the, these large shields and their hats, helmets, and they say, drop your weapons and surrender. We have the building surrounded, and they have these long rifles shooting, looking in the window. Remember, only return fire if they shoot first. Okay, interesting. So I don't know if that's like a moral thing or if that's like a don't shoot up the nitroglycerin thing, meaning like we can trust them to know where the nitroglycerin is. Nah, don't know.
I mean, like, I don't know. It's probably a mix of both. I would suspect that the APD doesn't want to deal with a lot of casualties, right? So like they don't want to be the ones to initiate the fire because like if they initiate fire, then they'll probably get fire back and they don't want to risk their officers, right? But so they're going on the defensive rather than the offensive.
And then they got shot at. Bang, bang, bang. So they're like, return fire. Problem solved. Quandary resolved. And they're returning fire. And then we have Group B in the loading dock, another SWAT team. And Herman is yelling into their radio. Remember, the nitro crates are green, which they don't look green to me, by the way. They look wood, right?
I think it's talking about the
thought it was
bottles.
green as in like could explode.
Oh, okay. Fine. Sounds good. Do not fire anywhere near them. Our priority is to retrieve Lieutenant Hawks and Sergeant Adele, which is like, Loon is not there.
Okay, but like that's important though, because Herman is more important about getting his officers out than like stopping the PS from getting their hands on the nitro or like keeping their hands on the nitro. And I think that's important. I feel like I'm a bit of a like Solis knows. Sorry, Solis, what are you saying?
I think he wants to get them out because there is a large amount of explosives in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He doesn't want the like SWAT teams to go in. He wants to get the people out, right? He's more concerned with getting them out rather than getting people in to secure the location. And I think that's important because like, I mean, Kim and Will obviously know important stuff, but like also I feel like a little bit also like he's concerned about their well-being. Because I mean, Herman just had Harvey die on him, right? From a Phantom Scythe assassin. Right. As they like as more Golden Viper Venom murders happen, they realized it was Phantom Scythe probably. So like in this, I feel bad for Herman because he's probably had to deal with the situation a ton of times, and I think he just does not want to lose another officer on the field, right? He doesn't want to. Every time I want to feel bad about Herman, I think about all the funerals he's attended in the past 10 years.
Thank you for showing him in the most positive light. So, but he does right after he's saying that that's his priority. He then moves to the nitro and he says, Sean, Mendez, Troy, and Clark, you're securing the nitro boxes in the delivery vestibule. Everyone else inside. And of course, rain is pouring. It's very dramatic. And Will, is like, he hears the sirens. He's like, it was about goddamn time. More curses. And he's, trying to shoot from his pistol, but it's empty. So he just throws it on the floor, which I don't know. You can still use it to like bang someone in the head, just saying. But then we discover that the 4 of them are surrounded. They're all standing back to back. There's Will, there's Kim, and it's probably Kieran and Lauren. And based on later battles, because we have all analyzed their position, and they're surrounded, and there's everyone pointing guns at them. And someone says, just a little too late. And then we have this picture of this guy. We have called him the DILF, which is things that I cannot say on the podcast, but it's a very handsome, slightly older man. And we actually, during stream, came up with like 15 pages of like possible names for him. So when we do find his name, we bet you are searching through that document.
I'm going to call him Ratman for now. That's what the Discord
I know someone
is
who
using.
calls him Cal, and I've kind of personally stuck with that just because.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've seen people use Nathaniel, and he does look like a Nathaniel to me. Like, but oh, Cal's a good one. Ooh, I like that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just gonna use Ratman because he looks like a rat to me.
Not look like a rat, okay?
That's what you get for shooting the 04. I'm gonna call you a rat.
He behaves like a rat, but he looks very nice. And he says, yeah, so he has this like confident, cocky look on his face, and he smirks and he says, so what do we have here? Seems like we finally caught Loon. Surprised that we're here. After spending so much time desperately running after the Phantom Scythe, you should know we're always one step ahead. And we see Kieran glowering at him. And my suspicion is that Kieran knows him from somewhere, from the Phantom Scythe.
I think also the line just probably relates to something Kieran has experienced, which is Kieran backstory moment. Like, wait, Mindy. Okay, so like I'm pretty sure Kieran has, done some bad stuff in the Phantom Scythe, like where he himself got in trouble for it, because he does seem more rebellious in nature. But now I'm thinking like the leader is one step ahead of Loon. In what sense is the leader one step ahead of Loon? Is it because the leader planned Loon? Is it the Vitrin theory? Where Kieran is gonna betray Lauren because the Kieran and the leader were in cahoots? And like,
back to this.
That would be one step ahead of Lauren. I mean,
listen, I'm proud that you were able to insert the Kieran betrayal theory. Good job. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe in terms of Kieran doing bad things for the Phantom Scythe, maybe this guy is like the Punisher. I don't think he recognizes him at this point, right? I mean, meaning I don't think the DILF recognizes Kieran right now, especially because he's not facing him also. But I'm pretty sure Kieran recognizes him. So maybe this guy was like the guy who tortured Kieran when he was younger. Maybe he's done some punishing later on, or who knows? But I have a feeling he knows him.
Oh, I had a theory that was like, okay, so there's a Hephaestus, right? I was thinking, like, what if this guy is Hephaestus? Like in the Pantheon, I was like, when we saw those panels of him, like from Soph's story, I was like, hey, what if this guy is Hephaestus? Because, right, if he's Hephaestus was in the Pantheon, right? I'm probably not saying the name right. Oh my god, he was in the Pantheon.
Sure, Hephaestus.
Okay, good. It's been a while since I caught up on Percy Jackson, but yeah. So we know this guy was in the circus, right? And then this guy is working for Apostle 7, right? Because this is where Apostle 7 is hiding the nitro. The leader knows that A7 is hiding the nitro here, but this is where Apostle 7 himself is. This is where he's organized it because Elvira is like under him. So this guy, whoever this guy is, probably sent by Apostle 7, right? And who else are the Apostle 7 minions? We got Messenger 7, who is Raphael or Athena. My theory is Athena, who is also in the Pantheon. And then we've got Bella, who, although Bella is also working for the leader, she is also in the Pantheon. So this guy is probably in the Pantheon. Like in the 2 times that we've seen so far, both Pantheon members, both working under Apostle 7, right? Both somewhat similar in age. So this guy could be Hephaestus. And I just realized that now. Like, I remembered, like, oh, this guy could be Hephaestus, but now I'm like, this guy could be a Hephaestus.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and reread that whole circus arc because, yeah, that's a cool one. Yeah, and he will again with his like overconfidence in the law and in morality. He's like, you should drop your weapons. Reinforcement will come in at any second. Oh, Will, you
So
poor
naive.
little thing.
You naive child.
I love him. He's such a sweetie. He's too good for this world. He may actually be too good for this world. But anyway. And the man's like, I'm not so sure about that. Again, just totally cocky, grin, very confident. And we have and we see, the SWAT team outside, and we have this guy who we don't think we've seen before. He's driving the truck, and he says, remember, only fire if they fire first. No one wants to get themselves exploded today, all right? That's true. But unfortunately, somebody throws a bottle out the window onto the truck, and we see a reflection through the window and of the guy. I think it's a different guy, actually. I guess the guy in the other window watching the bottle just descend, and the driver stops the truck or screeches, or like maybe he goes really fast or he stops, and then boom, the bottle hits the truck and it explodes, and there's this giant explosion. So rest in peace, driver and co-driver.
I swear to God, if Liam was in that truck, I will never forgive Soph and F. Also, that better not be Andrew. I can't remember, like, is that Andrew or not? I don't think it's Andrew. But
I think these are random characters that we've never met. But yeah, they are like no longer alive. And Lauren sees this through the window, this giant explosion, and it's just like we see that echo in her eyes. And many people have pointed out this is the trauma all over again, because we've met several panels of Lauren with the fire of the train tragedy reflected in her eyes, and here it is again.
mm-hmm.
Here's another accident, damage, people's lives being lost in massive explosions that she cannot stop.
And she could have prevented it. She's gonna feel like she could have prevented it, right? If she had been a little faster, had she moved a bit, like quickly, had she been able to reach whatever in time, she's gonna feel like, oh, I could have prevented this. But now she's reliving like Ellen do. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the next episode she's just going through some PTSD. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the next episode started off with a flashback and it's her grieving after Ellen do. Because that would be a really good way to just follow up on, the finale of season 1 where we got to see Allendale, and now we're in mid-season 2, we're seeing what happened after Allendale. But yeah, I think Lauren's going to be she's going to be kind of shaken.
I think I've hinted that we would see who pulled Lauren out of the explosion in ATST, so I'm curious about that.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yo, I forgot about that.
I knew she ran there. I don't remember anyone pulling her out.
I think it was F who said it, right?
Yeah, because she ran to the explosion, but how did she leave the scene?
Mm-hmm. And apparently, I think F was hinting that there was someone who actually pulled her out of the wreckage, and it's damn, I forgot about that. It's been months since I thought about that.
Yeah, well, more things to answer our theories. So now, with all the guns pointed at them, and there we see 3 guns on the ground, and it looks like 1 knife, right, by Kieran. And the guy, DILF man, says, tie Loon up. And at this point, we have someone kicking Lauren and Kieran to the ground, right? Kicking at their knees, putting their hands behind their back, presumably trying to incapacitate them. And then the guy says, and the cops, well, and he's pointing his gun out. I can't read this. And he goes, cocks the gun. Lauren turns around quickly, and then we hear bang, bang. And there's blood splattered on Lauren's face. Well, actually, sorry, it looks like kind of the blood is actually from before, when she was from an injury on her head, but there's blood reflected in her eyes. And there's blood all over her face. that's where we end the episode.
Okay, so I have some thoughts on the ending of this. First is that Kim and Will are wearing bulletproof vests. So chances of the shot having been lethal is lower. Like they could have been shot in the head or something. But it's still a lower chance because they have the bulletproof vests. Secondly, Kieran promised Lauren in episode 59 that he would not let Kim and Will be hurt. So I have a feeling he might have jumped in front, or was the person he was aiming at. So it was Kieran who got shot.
And also, like, I don't know about that theory. Like, it makes sense. Like, it has the foreshadowing. It has the build up. If he's injured and like, struggling at this point physically, and then he's getting tied up, I'm not sure if he would have time to react. But like, I can totally see him getting shot. And there was like something else that it would be like his last hurrah, sort of, before he collapses, right?
And also, like he mentioned in the bar episode, that he's not afraid of getting shot.
He lied and said, I'm afraid of getting shot, but yeah, so that means he's not.
Yeah.
Also, like, did Kieran get shot in that, like, in like one flashback, which I think it was,
yeah, he did,
72 or 73, where Kieran just like was bleeding out on the floor and Bill was like, are you gonna get up or what? But yeah, Kieran has gotten shot or just been related to getting shot quite a few times so far in the season, so that's sus.
So Meg and I were reading this yesterday, and Meg, I think Meg came up, both of us, we each came up with one alternative theory in which none of our people get shot. So neither Will nor Kim nor Kieran. So it's very optimistic theories. Theory number one is that the APD has come in and
that's what I was thinking.
DILF guy. Theory two is that Kieran or somebody pushed a bad guy in front of the DILF guy's bullets. So Kim and Will were not shot. So there is a possibility, and however slim, but you can go to sleep, reassured, knowing that your favorite characters are safe, sort of.
I was thinking, like,
safe
the
as
first
they can
thing
be in a factory with explosives.
The first thing I thought, like, when I read this episode, like right after I read the episode, I thought, like, it was totally not Kim and Will who got shot. Like, that was my initial thought. And I'm gonna be clowned for this if they were the ones who got shot. But it's like, oh my god, it was the Rat Man who got shot. Like, I could just, because we saw someone, like, earlier this episode pop out of the hall. Like, we had that guy who was aiming towards, was it Will or Kieran? One of the two. And then we had like Kim and Will who just like burst in and kicked that guy down, like, in the background, right? So like, what if that's what happened with like the APD? What if we had like Herman or someone come in, Grace, my beloved, like, come in, or Lucas, like,
I'm
Lucas,
hoping
my
it's
king.
Lucas.
Yeah, so like, if it was either of them who just like came in through the doorway and shot the guy.
Or one of them, because we know Will ran out of ammunition. The Kim says she was running out. She may still have had ammunition. So maybe Kieran, who says, oh, I never use guns, maybe Kieran actually picked up her gun, or maybe he took a gun from someone else or whatever and shot him as well. So that would be also a cool twist.
It's interesting because in Lauren's eye at the end, you can see the reflection of Will's hair, like, at the bottom of her eye.
So I looked at this and I could not. I was like, what do I see in her eye? Okay, let's look again.
So like, you see her pupil, right, and the blood, and then if you look at like where the blood is headed, like down, you can see that there is something there, and it looks like hair. It looks like the reflection of hair.
It does look like his hair, yeah.
Yeah, but it could be any of their hair, right? Like, it could be Kim's too.
Yeah, I'd say Kim or Will's. It's kind of hard to tell because of the like rendering. It's not Kieran's, but it's like the length of Kim or Will's hair.
It looks blonde to me.
Yeah, but it could be because of the rendering.
Yeah, because like the lights are also like very harsh. in the
And because it's in
factory.
Lauren's eye, it's a bit glassy, so and
I
hazy.
mean,
So
we also have noticed, like, in terms of her position, right? If she turns to the right, Will is the person who's to her right, you know? So that would make sense that he would be in her eyes.
well, yeah, because like she's turning to the right, and Will was the one on her right. So yeah, that makes sense. But she could also have turned enough where it would have been Kim on her right. So it's kind of hard to tell.
Maybe not, because if she's being held, you know, it seems like she hasn't moved, right? So I think she's still being held.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like, you know, I'm getting disheartened with the cliffhangers. Because of the cliffhangers alone, I would legitimately not believe that Kim and Will got shot. Like, just on how these cliffhangers have been going. Like,
And I think
I'm not
it's too early
letting
for
myself.
them. I mean, maybe they're shot. Maybe they're shot, but I don't think they're gonna die.
Oh, yeah, they're
F
not
has-
dying at all. It's way too early for them.
F has said something about like Kim in season 3, so I don't. Kim at least makes it to season 3.
And Will has to live to see his mom die. So
Oh my god!
Why don't you say Will has to live so he can stand up to his father and get a life or something like that, you know?
So morbid.
Will has to survive because I need to see him and Darcy have a good relationship and have like a boss ass friendship.
Okay.
Agreed. Will and Darcy taking down Stefan.
Literally,
When?
Will and Darcy could, like, if they were Loon, like the PS gone overnight.
You've said that about several characters at this point. You know, it's like,
Yeah, because everyone is more
Steak,
everyone
like...
is more competent than Loon at this point. Like, have you seen them? Have you seen
I will defend my Leon. You've called him having no brain cells? Oh well, anyway.
Kieran
I
has no
mean,
brains. Loon
she's
together,
not
they have
wrong.
0 brains.
Kim is the one with the brain cell, and Loon is
Yeah.
just borrowing it at this point.
We are all just borrowing Kim's brain cell at this point. Kim has the brain cell like 24/7. Like, I know she doesn't always seem like it because she is often played for comedic relief, but I think she is legitimately, like, maybe, I don't know where Sandman stands because we don't know much about him, but like, I think she is the most intelligent character in the entire series.
I would agree.
I have no opinion. Sorry.
Kim is very smart.
Yeah, she definitely is. That much we know.
She should be Herman. Hire Kim as a detective. Come on, like, you're gonna get everything solved.
I mean, Kim doesn't have as good like deductive skills as Lauren, though. But like,
one thing I will
she's
say,
still
though,
smart though.
yeah. So that's the one thing I will say is
Her
that
self-assessment is accurate.
we knew Lauren and Kieran were Loon before Kim did. Like, that's a failure on Kim's part. She just couldn't figure out who Loon was. Like, we figured out before her. Honey, it's a joke. We know she was. So disappointing in
Anyway.
Kim. She couldn't even figure out who Loon was in season 1. Like, by then, or she probably knew,
I
but
mean,
like
she
by episode 10, she didn't know who Loon was. Ugh, oh my god.
So, people, what are your final thoughts on this episode? Either our predictions for the next episode, hopes for the next episode.
hopes. Part of me wants Herman to die. Part of me doesn't.
Part of me wants Herman being the one coming in and shooting Ratman.
Yeah, that's why I don't. That's
Like,
the part of me who doesn't want him to die.
That'd be so badass. Like,
And then we have to like Herman. People would be.
Yeah, people don't like Herman, but it would still be pretty cool.
No, it would make people be like, what do I do? What do I do? Do I like him? Do I not like him?
It's like, it's Herman's episode 90 moment where we kind of like switched from like being on edge about this character to being like, oh shit, oh no. Because like I was like that, at least with Sandman. And then episode 90 was like, he's a dad and his daughter's dead. And it's like, I have a credit card, take all my money. I don't actually have money, but I'm broke, so. But yeah, it's like, yeah. Come on, I don't want my Herman like sympathy to go to waste, please.
I want a good backstory for Herman too. I think we'll get it because he's such a big character in the story. So let's see what else. What do I predict? I don't know. I have no idea, and I don't care. Whatever it is, I'm happy. I hope it pays off, as we were talking about. But I'm however it pays off, I'm fine with that. We'll see. Can't wait for it to be next week.
Yep. Another week. Oh my god, PH is driving me insane.
Oh, we do this ourselves. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on, and I will catch you all next week.
Thank you for having us. Always
Yep.
a
Thanks for
delight.
coming on. It was a long night.
Yeah, I'm glad I came on.
Awesome. Okay, dokes. Have a good night.
You too. Good night.
Good
Get some
night.
sleep.
Will do.